Hi folks, it's Evo here from Thundermist Lure Company, and welcome to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. I may sound a little stuffy, I've got a bit of a cold, but you know what? This is probably the best prescription anyone could ever give me. What a beautiful day. We've got a partly cloudy, partly sunny day. It's early spring. It's cool out, but very nice, not too much wind. What a great day to go sit on the shoreline and fish for catfish, and that's exactly what we're going to do today, folks. I've got my old Spincast reel I took out of storage, and we're going to use a Spincast reel today and have a little bit of fun, so stay tuned, folks. Okay folks, I've baited up. I've got some little leaf worms here that we got from a compost pile that we're using today for bullhead. And of course I've rigged up, I've got two hooks, one just above my sinker and then one with a longer line, as you can see here, going well below my sinker. I want to make sure that this bait is resting right on the bottom. And I've got them rigged up with a couple of T-turns. You could tie them on direct if you want, but the reason I use the T-turns is it just keeps me tangle free and avoids that line twist, because those catfish like to toss and turn while they're in the water. So that's the setup right there. And the sinker is just a light sinker. It's a 3/4 ounce sinker. You could probably get away with a 1/2 ounce for that matter. And all I'm going to do, it's not a very wide creek. We're fishing Black Creek today, and it's very narrow. And I'm going to cast out to the middle, I believe. And I'm going to use a pitching technique, just grabbing my sinker. And the way you use these spin casts, everyone grew up, I think, with a spin cast, easy to use. You just push down on the button and you release the button when you want to let go of your line. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure here. Oh, that's a beautiful cast. I'm out there right in the middle. That's where I want to be. Probably the deepest spot in the creek. It's not that deep, I'm sure. I've got my trusty pail here, and I'm going to put my line down. This is as I call it, the Antonio's there, the boatless angler's best friend, the pail. You got to have a pail when you're fishing on shore. I've got my rod resting right on the ground, close to the ground, to make sure that my line is, my bait is on the bottom. And oh, what do I see there? If I can reach it, I just see a little golf ball. Well, how do you like that? One of the bonuses of fishing on shore. I'm not a golfer, but I know some people who are. There's a golf course close by, so I just found myself a golf ball. Okay, I'm gonna sit now. I don't know if it gets any better than this, folks. It's a quiet morning, the birds are chirping. It's cool, but not cold. I love it. There we go, folks. Another 5-minute wait, and we got ourselves into another fish. Okay, swimming right towards shore too. Look at him. Oh, there we go. Boy, that's a chunky fat catfish right there. Okay. Now, actually, an easy way to hold these catfish, if you're worried about the fins, is just come in from behind the catfish, and you can put your hand kind of just like that. So the top fin is resting right here up against your hands, and you've got your two fingers right in front of the other fins here. See there? So there's no risk in getting these fins to pinch me. And in fact, you see how they clamp down on their mouth, the catfish? If you want to get your hook out, just kind of gently, just give a little bit of pressure on the side, just very gently, and they'll open up a bit there, as you can see, allowing me to take the hook out. There we go. That's a smaller catfish. We're going to let him go today and grow up to be a little bit bigger. It looks like he's pretty thick and fat. He's been eating, and like I say, the water's really cold, but the fish are on the bite, and that's a good thing. So we'll get him back in, and I'm gonna bait up again, and we'll get back out there. So folks, one thing I want to talk about, these Spincast reels. You know, we all grew up with these Spincast reels, and as we get older, we get to the spinning reels and the bait casters. But you know, there is a time and a place for these Spincast reels, and they are making them a lot nicer these days with very good drag systems. But one of the key advantages with these, especially for this type of fishing, is because it's capped and enclosed, you could fish over top of the debris. A lot of times you're fishing there's sand and rocks and dirt, and that protects your reel from getting all dirty and Whereas with an open-faced reel, a spinning reel, you get all that grit and grime in there, and so these are ideal for that. And the other thing to look for in a Spincast reel, if you take off the cap before you buy it, there should be a little ceramic pickup pin, and that little ceramic pickup pin is the device that catches your line as you're reeling in, and that style is much better than there's another style that has a cap with some teeth kind of in the cap. That's not a very good style to use. So look for the one with the ceramic pickup pin, and look for one with a decent drag system, and you'll have yourself a good Spincast reel, and you can have fun like this fishing the shoreline at any point in time. There we go, folks. That was not a little chub bite. It was actually a catfish bite, but I think it's a real small one. And that's why he was biting kind of funny. And look how they just toss and turn and spin around. Oh, there's a little catfish right there. That's a small one. You know what? Let's talk about this a little bit, because people are always concerned about the pinchers on a catfish. And the smaller ones, they do have sharper fins, and they will pinch you, as will the bigger ones. I mean, there's no harm in it. And again, I'm going to take them off the same way. Just come in from behind here and easily just take that hook out of his mouth and let that fish go. Now, if you get into those little, there's a catfish called a horned pout, and they're just that's just a small bullhead. That's all they are. But there's a tadpole mad tom, and they look like an actual tadpole, is what they look like. And those things, they don't get very big, but those have pinchers on them, and they do have like a little bit of a poisonous sting to them. But the normal bullhead catfish, you don't have any worries. There's nothing to worry about there. If you do get pinched, it will sting, but there's no poison or nothing like that. It's just like getting pinched from another fin from another fish. So I'm gonna freshen up this bait and get back out there. Oh, that was a really, really slow bite. A little tug. Oh, look at him go there. 6-pound test line, light rod. That's the way to do it. And it looks like the catfish are going to be a little bit smaller today, although that's not a bad size right there. If I was keeping them, I would, that's a keeper size there. But we're going to let them go today. Again, you got to grab them from the back, but little light line, nice catfish right there. Got a nice color to them. They're a nice looking fish this time of year. Okay. I was wondering why, pardon me, my line was just, I had a couple of hard snaps that looked like different bites, and look at there, I got myself, looks like a chub. You never know what you're going to get in the spring. These creeks, once the water warms up, they just start filling up with fish and coming alive. And you know, my bait's still good. I've got, like I say, I've got my 2 hooks on there. And the reason I'm running 2 is I want to create a little more scent in that area. So with just 1 hook's okay, but 2 hooks gives me double the chances, double the scent in the area. And that gives me a little bit of an advantage, especially with this really cold water, to attract those fish. And the other thing I'd like to mention, folks, people write in and ask quite often, you know, what types of worms to use, and I'm using these compost worms, or a leaf worm, a small red worm type thing, but you could use night crawlers, a regular dew worm. But if you do, all you need is just a little piece. So take a dew worm and just nip off just about an inch, and just put that on your hook and toss it out there, and that'll do just as good a job. Oh, there we go, folks. That was a nicer bite. Oh, I love that. What is it? I think it's another catfish. That was a different kind of bite. It's another catfish. There we go. Oh, look at that one. He's darker in color. Oh, you'll see he's got himself all wrapped up along, all my line all wrapped up along him. Am I glad I'm using those T-turns, because that's what they do. They make a mess of things. Okay, I'm gonna have to unravel him here. Take this line off him. Boy, he's a little beat up actually. I'm going to show you something here. Get him off the hook. It's a good hook set. Right up the snout. Okay, now if I can lip lock him here, it looks like maybe a pike or something. Look on his back here. See those two marks right there? It looks like something has tried to grab him, and he managed to get away. And you know what? See, there's some cut on the bottom. That must have been a pike or a muskie for sure. And he managed to get away, and he's going to get away now too, because I'm going to let him go. As I said, we're releasing the fish today. They're actually very, very good eating, catfish, especially if you want to blacken them or put them on the grill. They're delicious. But as I said, today we're doing catch and release, so I'm having a lot of fun. Oh, there we go. You know what, folks? The bites are coming a lot quicker now. As opposed to having to wait 5 minutes for that very first bite, I'm getting bites now within a minute or less. And that's because I think my strategy is working with my 2 hooks and my bait. Oh, there we go. There's a nicer catfish right there. There's a nicer fish. I think what's happening with the 2 hooks and my bait in that same area, what's happening now is these catfish, they're starting to all come around to that scented area, and that's why I'm getting bites a lot quicker now. This is a nicer fish, a bigger fish, that's for sure. I'm gonna reach in behind them here, take that hook out. Okay, there we go. That hook comes out. That's a bigger fish. He looks like a little beat up there. I don't know from what happened there to his tail, but these fish are taking a beating in Black Creek today. But again, we're gonna release him. Away back he goes. That was a nicer fish size-wise anyway. But you know what, folks? This is just a great day. I'm gonna sit back and relax. I've got my pail here. I've got a little bit of sun happening now. It's 3rd week of April. It's nice and quiet. I'm gonna kick back for a couple more hours and enjoy the rest of today. But I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. And if you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe to our channel. We welcome you subscribers. We've got a lot more fish catching action coming your way. So thanks once again, folks, and as always, until next time, good luck and good fishing.